Welcome to the Responsible Marketing Podcast, conversations about marketing, sustainability, and how we can all help in becoming more responsible organisations. I'm Jo, a marketing strategist and consultant with a career spanning corporate, small medium business and self-employment, incorporating marketing and commercial skills in various guises, and now flying the flag for a more sustainable and kind future for all. Today's guest is cafe owner and super talented cake maker Carly Payne, who runs Moments Café in Barnard Castle. From a background that has pretty much always incorporated some sort of baking or cooking, Carly's reputation reaches far and wide in the Northeast for her fantastic food and her brilliantly inclusive menu. Carly and I discuss the frustrations of an industry that doesn't always take responsibility and care for its clientele, Moments' own social impact in the local area, the amazing geotagged forest project they're involved with, and how the world should just be a fairer place in all aspects. And just in case you're wondering, no cake was harmed during this recording, much to my disappointment. Let's dive straight in. Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm delighted to have Carly Payne from Moments Café in Barnard Castle. Hi Carly.
Hello, nice to be with you.
Yeah, well, lovely to have you on. It's a sunny day, it makes a change,
glorious.
doesn't it? We're nearly in winter, so it's nice to have a bit of sunshine.
Yes.
So you own one of the most fabulous cafes in Barney, I have to say. You know, I have to stay away from your cafe actually, because otherwise I'd be the size of a house. But yeah, you make all loads of homemade goodies and all that kind of stuff. Can you just tell us kind of like what got you into the cafe, why it started, a bit of background about you, just so we can get to know you a bit more.
So I've always loved making and baking, and I've known from about 8 years old that I wanted to have a cafe and that it'd be somewhere different, particularly somewhere that helped people with dietary requirements, because that's a really big thing for me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went through life with that goal and plan. I have went through to college, did a catering degree in college, and I have a degree in hospitality management, and I set up my own business and I worked in restaurants all through my teenage years. And then I moved up north when we got married and I broke my back.
Oh my goodness.
And so ended up doing admin jobs because that was easier sitting down and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So then had kids and then life and life.
Yeah, all that goes with it.
So I spent 14 years just doing life and working in like admin and management jobs, and then decided that it really was time to grasp. Well, I bumped into Leah Hobson, who had the shop before me.
Okay, yes.
And I was like, what if I was thinking about this, what do you think I should do? And she was like, I'm actually leaving this property. It's going to be vacant shortly.
Oh my goodness.
And then so it was just was like a sort of serendipitous type of all coming together. And I spoke to the landlord. In 5 days, I managed to organise the landlord, building control, listed buildings, the fire department, and food hygiene to all turn up at the same time at the same day.
Oh my God, you're on
to
fire.
And we're like, I want to do this. Has anyone got any objections? And they were all like, no, crack on. So
amazing.
Yeah, that was great. So
and the building is incredible, isn't it?
It's just beautiful, yeah.
So is that what you kind of envisaged when you said, obviously you'd always thought about having a cafe when you were younger and stuff? Is that what you kind of envisaged, like an old, so just to describe the building, it's like really, really, I don't know how old it is.
1642.
Okay, so 1642, so it's got some
history.
Yeah, some history behind it, right?
Yeah.
So is that what you envisaged the cafe to be when you first started, or did you think maybe you'd be, I don't know, a little modern building out in the sticks, or?
I don't really know. I mean, we lived in the south, so I lived in Basingstoke. I grew up in a town just outside the suburb of London, so there wasn't really the same sort of history that there is here. Although there is, but not in the same sort of way. Mostly got knocked down and rebuilt. So I didn't really have a vision of the building, particularly apart from that homeliness and sort of coziness and the vibe of like just being able to be relaxed and free. So not sort of stifling, clinical and white and straight lined, but just really relaxing. And when I saw the building, it didn't look like it did now. They did a lot of work to it.
Okay.
But a lot of cleaning and scrubbing. Most of the structural work had been done by Mark and Leah. And so we just took that base and then sort of built on it. And they built on it year by year.
Okay. So what was it before Mark and Leah had it then? Because obviously they had a retail
They had
outlet,
it as a pop-up dress shop. Before that it was Nicholson's Domestics.
Oh, okay.
Electrical appliance repair. And he didn't use a cellar, so that Mark and Leah made the cellar structurally sound.
Okay.
So that had gotten into disrepair. But it was main yard suites from about the 50s through till when he took it on in the 80s. And before that, I know it was a cafe 100 years ago because a gentleman came in when we opened his grandma had it from 1920 through 1950.
Oh my goodness,
and so she used the downstairs as her kitchen and the coal cellar and things, and it was
crikey.
Yeah.
So there's some steps to go up and down
there
as well,
are some
aren't
steps
there?
to go
They're
up
not
and
a lot
down
of
there.
steps, but
There
they're
are
like really
lots.
old
Yeah.
stone steps,
Yeah,
aren't they? So what's been kind of like the best thing you've unearthed when you've done the work? Obviously you've said that the structural work was pretty much done, but there must have been some other stuff you've uncovered.
Yeah, there was some lovely just bits of artwork kicking around. So there was a nice pencil sketch drawing of Barnard Castle, of like the butter market and things, like the old Walls ice cream sign that we've got on display, and the unit that is downstairs in the hideaway that was just in a random corner covered in dust and things. So we cleaned that up and refurbished it and made that nice. So just lots of, and then cleaning out the fireplace.
Okay, so the fireplace is quite a thing as well, isn't it? And it works and everything.
Yeah,
it
does
working.
now. Yeah.
So
we had to put a new flue in, which is a 15-metre flue. So that was
that's big.
A lot.
That's a lot of work in itself.
Yeah, so that was investment, which is great, and perfect.
Yeah,
it's such a lovely space when it's warm and cosy.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's lovely for summer as well,
yes.
but it's particularly lovely in winter because it's so cosy and inviting. Downstairs in the cellar. It sounds like it's really dark and dingy, and it is dark, but it's like super cosy.
Yeah, but it's got an outside window too, so you get that natural light and air movement that you don't get in cellars as such. You still get that like natural air movement and light, so it's not too dark and dingy, and we have the heating on, so it's warm.
And it's always buzzing. Like, there's always people in there, so it's good. So, so your special sauce, and you want to describe it, is obviously the homemade baking.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned about when you were starting to think about having a cafe, you wanted to make sure it was really inclusive for dietary requirements. So tell us a bit more about the background, if you don't mind.
Okay, so
the reason for that.
I have a dairy allergy.
Okay.
So there's Olivia, my daughter. Okay. My mum is a celiac. My brother has Crohn's disease. And so we've always grown up like making stuff suitable for everybody. And I'm not very good at following recipes.
Oh, well, I don't think that's an issue, to be fair. I think you do all right.
I'll take a recipe and go, I could do that to it or this to it. Well, that might work instead. So, and baking is basically a premise of chemistry. So as long as you know the concept of how ingredients will react together, you can make and tweak things.
Yes, my husband said exactly the same. I'm a recipe follower. I need structure and instructions really. Yeah. But what fascinates me is that you can buy, I don't know, dairy-free, gluten-free products, everything else. You make everything yourself, but actually it tastes really nice.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you really wouldn't know that it's maybe dairy-free or gluten-free or whatever it is. No. So how do you even do that? Like, is that just trial and error, or do you just know what works together?
A bit of both.
Okay.
There is trial and error. My kids get to eat lots of things that don't quite work, or Olivia and I like to experiment with things. Like she's like, oh, can we try this? So we'll try something and it'll either work or it won't work. She made some avocado brownies the other day. They were horrific.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't try that one.
No, don't try that one at home. She was like, oh, I'm going to try this. I think it's going to be really healthy. And it was just the worst thing ever. But then the other day, on Sunday, we made this most amazing self-sourcing apple sponge pudding that was just incredible. And if I can work out a way to make it work in the cafe, I will. But it was so, I
guess it's also taking it from kind of like your dining table to the cafe as well. Yeah. It's a different thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, and it must be quite time consuming because you make everything pretty much fresh, I'm guessing, every morning. Yeah. So apart from this morning, unless you've already done it.
No, I did have a slide.
Sorry, cafe, you have to just wait
Liz was in, she was in baking fresh.
Okay,
so it's all
cool.
good.
That's good. But that's really time consuming. So do you find that is also kind of adds to the pleasure and the enjoyment of having the cafe, the fact you're making it all yourself, or do you just find it a bit of a I have to do it because I want these particular dietary inclusivity products and all that kind of stuff?
Bit of both. There's I love making, that's why I do it more than anything. That's my best time of day, between 5 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock in the morning when everyone else comes. Like I can just put music on, I can be by myself and do what I love doing. Yeah. So that's great. That's why I love it. There are definitely times when my alarm goes off and I do not want to get up. But,
when it's dark and rainy.
Yeah. But actually the majority of the time, that's the time that I love doing what I do.
And you're very much about ethically sourced ingredients.
Yes. Yeah.
So why is that an important thing for you? Do you think that's?
I think the world should be more fair, and I think trying to source things from fair people who pay their suppliers fairly, or down the chain, because obviously I can't source everything from the first point. You have to go, it's all through a chain. So, you know, some things I do get from supermarkets and cash and carries and things because you have to, there isn't a lot of choice, especially locally. You know, you'd have more choice in the south than you do up here. That's just the nature of the beast. But I try and support other small independent businesses where I can, because they're equally trying to build up their own business, and the more you can support independently locally, the better the local economy comes, and it all goes in a perpetual cycle.
Absolutely, so, yeah, definitely. And do you find it easy to find kind of like local suppliers that you can use?
Yeah,
mostly. Do you have any standards that they have to like adhere to, or do you just like maybe have some of the product and try it first and then?
Yeah, if it's a local supplier providing a local thing like the coffee, for example, when they came in to chat to me about it, we tried all the different blends and then decided on the blend that we wanted the most in the cafe and that sort of thing. So, you know, try and try what they've got, try the products. I get samples sent from a company that I use of like, oh, we've got this new thing in, try this and see what you think. So that might be coming soon. I just tried a hot berry powder.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Which was very like
a tea or a coffee or
a mashed up berries basically with some green tea and guarana. You can have hot or cold, and it was really tasty. So yeah. Right, so that's like
watch the space then.
Yeah, that's kind of like using up things that are, you know, not let's say food waste, but not the berries that you would sell in the supermarket because they don't meet the standards of the supermarket.
Exactly, they're not fully round necessarily or right colour or whatever.
So it's, you know, limiting food waste. It's all UK supply. So
we ought to give a shout out to your coffee supplier.
We should. London Coffee,
London's Coffee,
amazing.
We ought to just say that. Just so they've had a little shout out as well. Yeah, definitely. So you also obviously you're talking about intolerances and food allergies and everything else, and you want to be fully inclusive. Do you think that's something that all your industry as a catering industry, so like frontline to consumers, do you think that's something they should embrace anyway, or do you think you're quite happy to be kind of like niche and known for that? Do you really shout about? I don't know if you do shout about it that much. I think you just say it's amazing homemade food.
Yeah, I try not to shout about. It's a funny line to draw because I don't want to put people off coming who don't have dietary requirements and therefore think that they can't come because they haven't got a dietary requirement. Because actually you wouldn't know.
No, exactly right.
And so it's a fine line to shout about or not. But actually I think word of mouth has just built up around town. I've had people come in and say, oh, they've told me to come here because they can't serve me, so they sent me to come here, and that sort of thing, which is, you know, great that local businesses support each other.
I've got to say, that's again a great connection, I guess, within the town.
Yeah.
That, you know, they're always, although we have got a lot of cafes.
Yes.
That you all seem to, they all either offer something different, like a different influence, as in catering influence, or they offer just like dietary differences or whatever. And it's amazing that you all support each other. I love that as well. Yeah.
I think with the allergies as well, I think it's really important that for me with allergies, someone with an allergy, it's really hard to go out and eat. Okay. And I find that really frustrating. Yeah. That I go and eat and I'm just presented with a matrix and told to work it out myself, and nobody will take any responsibility for what is put on my plate. Right. It's like, oh, we can do this, or maybe we can do that, you know, whatever. And mine's not, I don't have a life-threatening allergy, it will just make me poorly. But I find it really frustrating. So like, there's just no reason for it. If you are making your food for someone to eat, you should know what's going into it. And you should be able to adapt that. And for me, that's the biggest thing for allergies, is that someone can come in and say, I can't have this, this and this. Can you help me? Yeah. And I can go, yeah, it's not a menu, but I can take that and take that and take this and put this together and you can have this. And they're like, great. You know, so actually they're just being able to understand, you know, little things like cross-contamination.
I know, massive thing, right?
Yeah, which, huge. You know, so knowing that you have different tongs and different things and we have different boards and knives and toasting machines, just so it's all kept separate. And when I make the things that are dietary specific, it's all clean, you know, massively cleaned down before and stuff. So, you know, obviously nothing can ever be 1000% guaranteed because that's life, but I will make every effort I can to make sure that whoever it is eating is able to eat and enjoy something that they wouldn't necessarily be able to do at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And do you think then, do you think some of the I don't want to say cafes because I always consider a cafe fairly small, but do you think maybe some of the larger sites, if you like, or restaurants or whatever, do you think that it's just a bit of a pain in the bum for them to do that? So if someone walks in and say, you know, because I guess a lot of, I don't know the catering industry inside out, but I'm guessing a lot of them probably pre-prep a lot of their food. Yeah. So sauces are pre-made, or
things that they put within things or on things are generally, because I know my daughter asks for certain things that not to have certain things, and they're like, well, it's already pre-made, so we can't. So they don't have that flexibility necessarily then, do they, to be able to counter
and particularly bigger chain restaurants, they are told a specific way that they have to produce an item so that it's consistent across the brand, right? Which I understand that. And that really depends on the restaurant you get and who you're speaking to, whether how flexible they choose to be with that or not. And some people it's just knowledge and just not understanding,
or not wanting to understand,
or just saying, do you know what, this is not worth my risk. You go somewhere else, type thing. I've only ever been turned away from a restaurant once, so that's I'm not going to name
too difficult. Don't name shame them.
And it was a long time ago now, to be fair. And a lot of things have moved on. 20 years ago, when I first moved up here, trying to explain that I couldn't have dairy was like talking to the moon. Northeast farmers going, what do you mean you don't want dairy? And I'm like,
this is our life. Come on.
So actually, things are much more tolerant now. There's much more choices. People understand it much better. There's more variety, even just available locally.
Exactly. So, and I think there's lots more cases. So a lot of people are unearthing actually maybe why they've been poorly for so long, or what the issues are there. So I think you're right in the fact that definitely, I think the world is turning for that anyway. Like you say, all the ingredients you can find in various outlets and stuff like that. But I think the fact that you have the flexibility to be able to literally cater for one person or a family that comes in that have a requirement, is just it's that extra step to responsibility and really caring. It's almost like a duty of care, I guess, for your customers.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to go out and feel that way, so I wouldn't impose that on anybody else. I would want to go out and feel like the person is listening to me and is helping, and so I would absolutely do that for anybody that came in.
Definitely. So just on that kind of responsibility and sustainability, I guess, because I'm going to just morph into that a little bit. So one of the reasons obviously for getting you on the podcast, apart from I'm hoping we might have had cake to taste, but we haven't. So I'm going to have to call in now,
cafe, isn't it? Not here.
So I'm going to have to call in for a bit of cake. But also to talk about the tree planting project that you're involved in, because I spotted that as a poster on your countertop. Although I have to say, I keep forgetting to ask you to top mine up to add to that. So I need to remember to do that next time. Or if you remember, just say to me, you said to do this. Because it's on record now, so I have to do it now. So tell me a bit more about why you decided to do that. Secondly, why did you pick that project, and how is it going, and all that kind of stuff.
So like I say, I've always wanted to support locally and where we can, and that sort of thing, and just make a difference. That sort of butterfly effect of the little things that you do make a big difference further down the line. And they called me, to be honest. They contacted me and were like, you're a fairly new cafe. We'd like to talk to you about this thing. So it's a company called Sustainably Run Restaurants. And they obviously work globally over lots and lots of restaurants. What I really liked about them is that they don't just plant trees for the sake of planting trees to tick a box. They plant fruit trees in local rural communities in third world countries, A, to feed the villagers, and B, to then teach the next generation agronomy. So it's a real generation change, so then they have a job to sell. They can sell the fruit on and that sort of thing. So it actually just implies more and more butterfly change down through the generations, and
that education, everything that goes with it.
And just impacting the local communities and how that changes their life as a whole. Of having the men being able to go out to work, where their women have gone and got food to feed, to then bring themselves up out of poverty in one little step at a time. And, we can't do everything to everyone, but we can help where we can.
Absolutely.
And it's a very small amount to give to make a global impact.
It is, isn't it? And I think the other thing I like about it, because there are 10 a penny kind of tree planting things you can get involved in projects, and a lot of them, as you said, you mentioned obviously about being able to they're actually planting trees to feed the families that are in that area, and education and jobs and all that kind of stuff, job creation. Whereas a lot of the ones I've come across before, they kind of plant the trees. You don't know where they are. They're not looked after, so they're not nurtured, so they die anyway. Or they're the wrong kind of tree, or they're in a place where they can't grow, or no one gives a monkeys about them after 2 minutes.
They've done it to tick a box and it's moved
exactly
on.
Right. But this one you can actually track, because I've been on and had a little
geotag
look.
On our website.
And you can see exactly where the trees that you or the cafe supported through the custom or with the customers of exactly where they've been planted and how many are there and stuff. It's amazing.
And there are links then to their website, which has video testimonials from the villagers and the impact that has made to them and how, you know, whatever they're thankful for what's happened. All that sort of stuff.
What change it's created.
And we have ours in Tanzania, but they're globally all over the world. So we do ours slightly different.
Did you pick Tanzania in particular?
No, they just suggested it. But I love that because I love being able to support that real, and they do it in places of really deep deforestation. So it's not only is it re-impacting that physical earth by replanting the trees and the nutrients that go back into that ground, it's then helping the rural poor communities as well. It's a massive impact. It's like, that's a really amazing project to kind of, I mean, I will put some link in the show notes and stuff to that website, because I think that kind of project is something that more people need to know about. So like, again, really valid and transparent project to get involved. And you've surpassed your 1,000th tree. So we're 1,329 as of the end of September.
Amazing.
And so at the end of each month, I just tally it up and send them the figure of what we've done. So
so it makes you feel quite proud, right?
Yeah, it's great. And that's all from customer giving. So I don't, their suggestion as a company is to put it on everyone's bill automatically. But I chose not to do that because I don't feel it should be forced on anybody. People should be able to make that choice themselves. And so I created posters and stuck them around and said, add a tree for 123, let us know and we'll stick it on your bill. And we have a couple who are probably our biggest supporters of the trees, who every time they come in they buy 2 trees, and that is 2 or 3 times a week. So they've got a few trees.
They've got a proper forest.
And he was very specific about coming in and making sure he bought the 1,000th tree.
Really? So he really wanted that that bit of kudos. Well, fair dues to him.
And and people do. People who are visiting tourists will just think, do you know what? I can extra £5, I can buy 5 trees.
I know. I definitely need to retro mine.
It's not a massive impact that to somebody, an extra £1.23 on your bill really is insignificant to most people, and it makes such a difference down the line.
Completely. So obviously you've kind of like set your mind to want to get involved in that kind of side. So is that because you are looking at your own carbon footprint within the cafe, or are you not there yet? Is it just not something that's on your radar yet? I mean, the building itself can be quite difficult to do something with, I would guess, if you had to make any changes.
So can't do anything from a environmental point of view to the building in that sense. The heating is electric heating, it's expensive, it is what it is. I can't put gas in to put gas into those.
Solar panels.
No. I looked at air source pumps, can't do that either. So, there's a limit to what I can do on a grade 2 listed building in the middle of a conservation area. But we can help with that, with doing this sort of thing. And I haven't looked into like a whole specific spreadsheet of where my carbon footprint sits. But I am aware of it and aware of where I get my suppliers from and where they get their supplies from and that sort of thing.
So you're interrogating down your supply chain as well. So asking them,
to a degree.
It sounds a bit harsh, but asking them maybe where the materials come from, or the resources come from.
And just aware of their processes and what they try and do from their point of view to offset their carbon. And everyone, it's quite a well discussed subject now, so people know, and especially bigger companies that I get stuff from, they know they've got to offset their carbon footprint. They do automatically and that sort of thing. So locally produced, locally sourced, anything is better than not. So,
and also I guess you're supporting the tourist industry in Barney as well. So actually that's, although people travel here, which I guess you could talk about cars and all that kind of stuff. Well,
but people can travel anywhere.
Exactly right. But we have a tourism industry and it's really important to the town.
It is,
so actually it's making sure we keep people coming back and that kind of attraction. So although they probably want to come and see the castle or go to Raby or whatever they want to do, but they'll also come back to certain cafes and that kind of stuff as well. So you're supporting our industries as well, aren't we?
Yeah, and just supporting each other in the town. It's Barney's a thriving town, actually, of local independent cafes and restaurants and shops and all sorts of things, which is what I love about Barney. You can go to a lot of high streets and it's not like that.
I know. And, it's crazy. I mean, it's when they say the high street's dying, I do get it, because obviously the bigger towns probably are facing that. But as a market town, we do have a busy high street.
Great,
So, Interesting. So have you got any more plans afoot, just going back on the kind of like, not to overlay on the carbon footprint too hard, but obviously you can't make changes to the building like you said, but are there any other areas you've considered? Are there any other kind of community projects you get involved in or anything like that perhaps also create the social value type of side as well?
So I have in the past done a lot of stuff with the hub through their especially during lockdown, it sort of provided lots of stuff for them for that.
For the food packages that went out?
So I baked fresh for their food packages so that everyone who was getting food packages got something nice too, because just because you're on a food package doesn't mean you can't have cake.
Absolutely.
I did that.
It's a good job I didn't know that, because I was delivering out. I would have just
I want those.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have a bit of that.
So I did that for 3 years or whatever it was running for, until they stopped that, and they do it differently now, so they don't need the same thing. And I helped the Storehouse, the local food bank, on a Friday. I'm looking at some stuff with them about providing hot meals on a Friday for people to come for that, as well as get food and that sort of thing. So, I'm aware of what's going on around town. I'd like to be involved in what I can be involved in. Time is a limit and it's a commodity.
Absolutely.
But, I'm always conscious of what is around. People come in, lots of vouchers get given out to charity events for this, that and the other, or raffles for this, that and the other.
I've
never said no to anyone because I wouldn't want to.
You're that kind of person.
I'd rather give something out to somebody. 10% of my turnover gets given away.
Wow, so it's your turnover, not your profit. That's actually quite a thing then.
So I try and make an impact where I can. I've been given stuff. I've been blessed by abundance. I've been blessed with provision. I've been blessed with customers come in. So it's only the right thing to do is to pass that on.
Pay it back or pay it forward, as they say now. Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of good stories there. So obviously my podcast is the Responsible Marketing Podcast. So I'm going to ask you a marketing question. Okay. So and I know the answer to it anyway, because I've clearly stalked all your socials and everything and your website. Do you think you talk about it enough? Do people know all this amazing stuff that you do?
I don't think people do. I don't talk about it particularly. I'm a little bit of the believer that actually left hand should know what the right hand is doing, and that you should just do it because it's the right thing to do, not because it's to be shouted about.
But it's good for people to know, right?
Yeah,
so it's not necessarily about having a crown for it, but it's about, this is the kind of business we are. You know, and those people who really want to support those kinds of businesses like me, I know what you do. Yeah. And I know what you get involved in, obviously, because, I'm very much involved in town as well. So it's natural for me to want to come to your cafe because I know the good stuff you do.
Yeah.
But I also think that the people should know.
And I love, my heart is to support and to serve in any way that I can. And if that is, that's part of why I love the hospitality industry, because it's a service industry. And so actually I get to serve people. Regardless of the fact that they're paying for that service is different, but it's still that heart of service and wanting someone to come in and to have that time and to feel like they are pampered a little bit for the short amount of time they're with us. They can come and they can relax and they can feel like they've been looked after and go away refreshed. And
I have to say, and credit to your team as well, because they're never like in your face at all. There's always, time to chat. There's never any issue if we're not ready to order, all that kind of stuff. The service in there is always exceptional.
They're a good bunch.
Yeah, they are a nice bunch. So I am finishing the podcast now with a final question, really, just before we work out or tell people where you are and everything else, about a book recommendation. So it can be fact or fiction. It can be whatever you liked. What's your favourite book when you grew up, whatever it is, but also why? Why does it resonate with you? If you're a reader,
I love reading.
I keep assuming that
people... No, I am a massive reader.
Because I'm a reader and I keep assuming people read and actually they might listen to audio. So.
That's really hard because there's so many books have different impacts for different reasons. I love reading. I plough through books. I love a good chick flick, easy read, escapism type book for when my brain is overworked and I just like watching a movie. I love a good... one of my favourite authors is Jeff Wheeler.
Okay.
And his books are just incredible. And it's kind of like a fantasy fiction, I guess, for want of a better terminology, although that sounds really weird. But he basically just creates worlds, and the skill to create these worlds and all the people that within it. And there's always a really nice moral theme running through it, and good winning over evil and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, a bit Lord of the Rings-esque, but like with different.
Right up my street.
Yeah, so I really love his books. But I equally love a good cookbook.
Yeah. And, I know. Well, what's your favourite? Yeah. Is there a go-to cookbook for you?
Not really. Not so much nowadays.
Or a favourite cook that you might follow? Anyone?
No, I like to just explore and see what's around. I get stuff, obviously with social media and things come up all the time. Algorithms like of whatever, different stuff. I guess in the past, I don't use physical books quite so much cookbooks now as I used to.
Okay.
Like, when I was a kid, I would devour through cookbooks and try different things and inspirations or whatever. But now that it's all on your phone, it just pops up and I just search. I want to look at ginger cake and then see what comes up.
Avocado.
Brownies. Don't do that.
It needs to have a warning.
The internet lies sometimes. That wasn't clear before.
Test it out.
Green and Black's cookbook though.
It's Green and Black's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm already a massive fan of them anyway.
So that's pretty good cookbook.
I never thought of doing your own cookbook.
I've pondered it.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh. I haven't quite got to that point of thinking, yes, I definitely want to. But I've pondered it. So maybe, watch this space.
Would it be all cakes? Because you don't just do cakes.
I don't just do cakes, no. I never planned out to do savoury. That wasn't my initial goal,
Oh, you meant to be all cakes.
Yeah, and I had planned initially just to be cakes. And then people asked, and I'm not very good at saying no. And so I developed a menu that sort of covers all bases. And it's a fairly simple menu. It doesn't,
it's nice,
it does what it does. And I'd rather do small well than lots of things badly.
Fantastic. Callie, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
You need to tell everyone where you are clearly and where they can find the website and everything else.
Yeah, so we are at Moments Café, which is 8A Marketplace in Barnard Castle, just up the road from here, by the Butter Market roundabout. Blue building, can't miss us.
Yeah.
Website is momentscafe.co.uk, and all the various socials on Facebook and Instagram. So
yeah, definitely check them out. Yeah. And actually, just come up to Barney and don't get your eyes tested. Go and have some cake.
Yes, yeah.
That's probably, I'm not meant to say things like that. Get your eyes tested, but it's still a thing, isn't it?
Sadly, yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much. It's fun.
Thank you for listening and watching, and I will see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening and watching the Responsible Marketing Podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button wherever you get your podcast from. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe there too. I also love to get reviews, as they make a huge difference to others discovering the show. So please leave a review, any comments or questions on whichever platform you prefer. And of course, feel free to share out your socials with your friends and your colleagues. If you want to contact me direct, you can email joe@jolongconsulting.com or find me on LinkedIn under my own name, Joe Long. Until next time, thanks for listening and for watching.